guys, how's it going? So as you can probably tell from that mini little goofy intro, this is a very, very touchy topic. The UKCAT exam. It is a interesting exam. It's the aptitude test that you have to sit before applying to any medical school. Some medical schools will ask for more, like the GAMSAT or the BMAT, but the UKCAT is, I'm pretty sure, for every single medical school. I'm not sure of any that don't take it. If I'm wrong, then do let me know, comment below. So here are my tips on how to try and maximize your chances of getting a very high UKCAT score. Tip number one from me is to find a site that has a very good set of resources. So what I mean by this is try and find a site online or a book or something that has a lot of questions and also a few practice tests. So those two books that I used in that little introduction were the 600 UKCAT book and another book that I found on Amazon somewhere. The 600 UKCAT book is a very, very good book. I think it's quite good for the maths and the abstract reasoning sections, particularly abstract reasoning, as there's a set of rules that you can learn and apply to abstract reasoning questions in given time frames, and if you practice those, then you do become quite fast at it. I don't think it's fantastic for verbal reasoning or decision analysis, purely because that book is really, really difficult when it comes to verbal reasoning, and it's also quite easy when it comes to decision analysis. It's not, I feel, representative of the real test. So when I was preparing for the UKCAT exam, what I did instead was use a website called ukcat.medify.co.uk. It's a really, really good site. I found it through a Twitter search for UKCAT. I just wanted to see what other people were thinking about this exam, and a lot of people were thanking this company called Medify, and I was like, I need to get in on this. What is this website? So I tried their demo out on their website, which is free, and I quite liked it, so I paid £30 for a 2-week membership. That gave me 12 practice tests which I could do in an untimed and timed manner. So it was a really, really good site for me to practice and practice and practice and get my score higher and higher. Tip number two from me is to identify your weakness. So other than those brain boxes and geniuses that get high 800s and super high 900 scores and max out the UKCAT, a lot of people do struggle with some sections of the UKCAT, some more than others. So me in particular, I struggled with verbal reasoning very much, but to balance it out, I was very good at decision analysis, so it meant that I could put less time towards decision analysis and more time to practicing verbal reasoning. So on the Medify website, I did every single practice set of questions for verbal reasoning, whereas I only did maybe 3 for decision analysis. That was just me in particular. Some people are better at maths, some people are worse at abstract reasoning but good at all of the other 3. So identify your weakness and bump it up. Don't forget that some medical schools will look at individual UKCAT section scores as well as your average score, which needs to meet the cutoff for that university. The third tip I have is the good old practice makes perfect, and it's so cliche to say, but especially with the UKCAT, practice really does make permanent. So get as much practice in as you can. Do not start revising for the UKCAT the week before your exam. You should be studying for about 3 to 4 months before that, getting used to the timings, and that is probably the most important thing that you take away from this video. Get used to the timings of the UKCAT. There is nothing worse, and I'm talking from personal experience here, there is nothing worse than walking into the UKCAT room, not having done a time test before, and then suddenly realising that 4 minutes into the verbal reasoning question you've only answered maybe 3 questions and you have only a few minutes left to answer another million. So don't be that person. Practice the timings, even if it means getting your phone out and timing you if you're only using a book, or if you're using medify.co.uk or another website that times for you, that's even better because you have no choice but to get those questions and guesses in before that timer runs down. So really practice the timings. And finally, tip number 4 from me is don't go through the UKCAT on your own. Even if it means talking to a family member or getting someone to sit down with you and maybe them trying some questions whilst you're revising questions as well, it really does help. Having a fresh set of eyes, looking at, particularly in abstract reasoning for example, looking at a set of shapes and trying to find the patterns. You might find one pattern and this other person might find the pattern that you never found, but there might be 2 patterns there. So by working with somebody else, you might be able to understand their methods and how they approach the question, which might help you in turn. I know it helped me a lot when I was practicing with my cousin, so really try and find someone who's willing to help you out. The best person to find is someone who's actually going to sit the exam, another student who's applying to medical school. Try and find someone. Chances are you're not doing it on your own. So find that person, get together and start studying for the UKCAT nice and early. Okay, so those 4 tips aren't the gold standard. Let's just make that perfectly clear right now. If you ask somebody else who got a high mark in the UKCAT to give you tips on how they did it, they probably will give you different tips to the ones that I have just given you. Those tips were for me personally, they were the way that my mind works. So if they help you out, then fantastic, that's great. But if you have listened to those tips and you've applied them and it's still not working, then look around, listen to other people, talk to other people that have sat this exam and try and get advice from them. But at the end of the day, it's all going to come down to you, and I firmly believe that practicing this test under timed conditions is the way that is going to get your score that much higher. Those 4 tips, those are the only thing that I applied. The rest of it came down to me. I put the work in, and I'm not going to say that luckily I got a high score because it wasn't luck, it was hard work. So just put the work in and you guys will be fine. So a lot of that video was quite worrying, and it's about something that really does stress people out. So to de-stress you, I've got something that's pretty funny. My friend sent me an article, which I haven't read yet, called The 23 Types of Medic That You Meet at University. I'm just going to quickly go through it now. The link to it is below, so have a read of it. So the one that plays a sport, that's not me. The one that cycles into lectures, that's definitely not me. Mr. Disorganised, on occasion, but I wouldn't say it's my thing. The question answerer, no, but at undergraduate I did not like that person who sat at the front of the lecture and was constantly just like... no. But I'll let you know, when they put their hand up and answered it wrong, I was laughing in the back. Alright. Number 5 is the rugby lad, that's clearly me. Number 6 is the nice guy or girl. I would like to think that I'm a nice guy, maybe that's me. 7 is the gentle genius, that's definitely not me. 8, the works hard plays harder. Nah. 9 is the missing in action, the person that never comes to your lectures but always comes to the exams and then manages to get a high mark. Number 10 is the event organizer. No. 11 is the gunner. I'm not quite sure what a gunner is. This lone wolf is out for themselves and more than happy to ruin anybody in their way. That is definitely not me. Number 12 is the liar. The liar will claim to do no work all year before nailing every single exam. That's not me. 13, the keen bean. That could definitely be me. I am a self-confessed keen bean. 14 is the nervous wreck. Also me before an exam. 15, the position grabber. I'm not quite sure what that is. 16 is the too cool for school. That's not me. 17 is something called the meek mouse. I don't know what that is. 18 is the moaner. That's not me. 19 is the sunny bunny. I don't know what one of them is. 20 is the lazy guy. 21 is the social butterfly. 22 is the results guy. 23 is the really postgraduate. I am a postgraduate, but I'm not a really postgraduate, so that's not me. I reckon from that list, I am the key bean. Have a read of it, see which one you are, just read it for fun, it's pretty funny. And I guess all that's left to say is, good luck in your UKCAT exam, you will do fine if you get that practice in. See you in a bit. Okay.